NFL Player Association calls over the past 2 weeks says, bottom line, we want to play, but they do need some details. You know, you can see on his tweet, he mentioned a lot of different things that they have issues they have not reached clarity upon with the NFL. So, guys, this begs the question, would you play in the NFL this season? And Damien, I want to start with you here.
Well, for me, it's easy. I would not, because my wife is she has autoimmune disease, and so she's immune compromised. So I wouldn't put my wife and my family in that type of situation. But listen, that JJ Watt tweet brings up a lot of questions than answers as far as the National Football League is concerned. Like he laid out, players don't know if they're going to be tested daily. What if a guy tests positive in a room? You know, you have guys in these meeting rooms, God tests positive. What's the protocol? Who's getting quarantined? What are the game day rosters going to look like? There's a lot of questions. What is the pay? What is the pay going to look like if a guy tests positive and he misses extended period of time? With COVID. So there are a lot of questions that seems to be out there, and the fact of the matter that the Houston Texans are going to be reporting to their facility, the rookies, on Monday. It seems like everything is just going in hyperdrive, and we don't know a lot of these questions that are being presented out there. So for me, the answer is simple. I would not.
Yeah, I think it's not as easy an answer for me. I think the answer is probably yes, I would play. And I think at 37 years old, which I am now, and a father and a husband, I think it's easy for me to say, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't take that risk for myself or my family or any of the people that are that important to me. But I'm trying to think back to when I was in my 20s and I was a football player, and being there for my teammates was the most important thing. And also the money was really important. Whereas if it was early in my career, I wasn't making nearly as much money, but I knew that I couldn't afford to skip a season. I might be out of the league. And it's late in my career where you're making bigger checks and you're like, this is the money that I'm going to live off of for the rest of my life, or the money that is going to be able to send my kids to good schools, and the money that's going to be able to help me buy a house for my parents. Like, all that stuff out there, I think that I would talk myself into going and playing, exposing myself to that risk. I mean, we are playing football. Like, it is a high risk endeavor. So I want to say that I will be mature enough to recognize that the smart thing to do would be not play. And Damien, like you, my wife too has Crohn's disease. It's a immunocompromising disease. So I would be very careful. And I thought a lot about it. And I think I would just live in a hotel for a year and work out of a hotel, and we wouldn't see each other. But I know it sounds trite and trivial to make it all about the money, but those contracts was getting pretty big. And I'm not just going to, I would have to sacrifice. I'm not just going to pass that up, because that means a lot to buy all the things that I pointed out. Like, I wouldn't have been able to buy my mom a house, my mom and dad a house, and that stuff is substantial to me. And I recognize that I wouldn't, if it were my son, I would be like, no. Absolutely not. But you just have different thresholds for the risk that you're willing to take as a caregiver and as a breadwinner for not only your immediate family, but your extended family. So I don't know. I recognize that what you're saying is probably the right answer. But if I'm trying to be honest, I think I would try to do everything I could to figure out a way to get out there, be there with my team, and get them checks, frankly.
Well, as I just mentioned,
listen,
the NFL... go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, listen, I agree. I think 99% of the guys out there have the similar mindset. I remember, Don, we both played in the league for a long time. And, especially in your 20s, man, you feel like you're a gladiator, nothing affects you and all those type of things. And you play through all types of injuries, and, guys have been sick and all those type of things. You find a way to get through it. I just think that this is a totally different animal. And I'm just speaking on just my particular, situation. I don't know how many other guys are going to be dealing with the same question or the same situation that I just posed. But again, from a National Football League perspective and the Players Association, there's a lot of questions about this that, quite frankly, if I'm a player looking at this whole situation, I would be very skeptical, and I would be very worried about what I am stepping into this season. Is my money going to be guaranteed if I catch COVID? Are they going to limit that? There's a lot of question marks out there that we just don't have the answer to right now.
And Damien, I think if you did have the answers, it would be an easier decision to make. You would know what to do, whether it's safe to play, whether you should sit this one out. But I want to ask you, how concerning is it that there is such an extreme lack of communication right now between the NFL and the players?
It's incredibly concerning, I think, and I think it's easy to say if we had more answers that we would make better decisions, but we didn't have all the answers and still don't have all the answers on head injuries and what that means. And all of us went out there and continued to play for whatever reason. So I think it is incredibly concerning that there's not enough information out there, that some of the NFL star players are asking questions that we feel like should be pretty straightforward. And honestly, about the virus, we all talk about how it could affect other people. We don't know how it affects the people who contract the disease. Just because you contract the virus and maybe it develops into the worst disease and it impacts you short term and then you beat it, we're not sure what the long-term implications are. Like we just learned recently that it's more of a blood disease than a respiratory disease. So it could affect other organs. So I think it's a hard thing to say. I'm trying my best to be honest and be fair, but I think the best way to frame it is if someone was asking me for advice, I would tell them not to play. But if it were me, myself, I know I would probably put myself in that harm's way, as stupid as that sounds, because of the benefit that I would think that it provided to me and to my family.
Yeah, listen, I think at the end of the day, I want to repeat, 99% of the guys will be willing to play because careers are so short,
right?
And you only have a short window to make the type of money that you're able to make in the National Football League. So again, got these guys in their 20s and early 30s, they're thinking, you know what? If I had to sacrifice and put myself out there in a situation that, quite frankly, there's a lot of unknowns and knowns right now, then I'm willing to do it, knowing that I'll be able to keep making these checks that'll secure my family's future. And I think that's the mindset of most of the guys in the National Football League.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.